Good Sunday afternoon. This is Roger Hill from Wuthering Heights Consulting with VELCO's Weather Hazards Outlook. This will be valid the rest of Sunday afternoon through next Saturday, September the 6th. What we're looking at here is the current conditions taking place right now with a band of generally rain showers, very few thunderstorms within this. Potential for a little bit of thunderstorm activity that could be developing. The latest mesoanalysis does show that instability is on the increase, but mostly around the area most affecting, the rainfall area that is currently producing a lot of showers. A little higher instability off to the north and mostly off to the south. This particular area is kind of a hard forecast right now. Unless we get any breaks of sunshine, we're probably dampening down any chances for any thunderstorm activity to reach sufficient heights to produce any really big even lightning potential. So things are looking a little bit trending less and less here, a little quieter than normal. Probably the best chance will be down across parts of southern Vermont if it does even happen. And again, this is for Sunday afternoon. And here's a quick look at the wind fields showing the lowest layers of the atmosphere. We have a generally southwesterly flow. There is a cold front with cooler air and more stable air to the north. And this cold front is well north of the St. Lawrence River Valley, north central Vermont, about that location there. We're not anticipating any major changes here, and we're generally in this sort of southwesterly flow with a plume of moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. And this is a look at the precipitable water. You can see this particular area here is where a lot of moisture is, in this range here, closing in on 2 inches, which is down here. But the general flow is that we have a plume of moisture coming in across like this with a frontal boundary off to the north of us. And you can see every 6-hour increment what it does here. It looks like the worst of it stays to our south, and we finally do get a little bit of drier air sort of in between storms on basically Monday, Labor Day. And then on Tuesday, we have another frontal boundary. That's this here, and you can see the increased precipitable water amounts there. And once the front goes on by, this is valid about, looks like around 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. We start to see an area of higher pressure build in. Things begin to dry out. And it looks like we're in for some pretty nice weather until the return flow of a little bit moisture works in. This is valid here about 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. And then very gradually we start to see more moisture pull up ahead of a cold front. This area of low pressure has a little more strength than the one we're seeing today, Sunday. And again, this is valid roughly for Saturday. Beyond that frontal system, looks like some real fine dry weather that'll occur, it looks like, late next weekend and into a portion of the early part of next week. In the meantime, we'll have to deal with some humid weather and temperatures actually well above normal. In terms of instability, we're looking at this is going to be this late part of Sunday, and you might notice that double structure right there. This is valid Sunday night, and you can see there's still a little bit of leftover instability here where we could still see something pop. It looks like along the U.S.-Canadian border and then off to the south and east across southern New England. In between, things become rather stable. Now, looking a little bit further down range here, as we get into Tuesday morning, this is Tuesday afternoon, out ahead of that cold front, we can see capes or convective available potential instability energy as measured in joules per kilogram. You can see the darker yellows there off to the south. Parts of southern Vermont has probably a little better chance, as illustrated here by the European model. And then things have a tendency to dry out. We have high pressure move in for some pretty fine weather on Thursday, probably the best project weather day. And then beyond that, looks like we start to get into another plume of stronger capes or convective available potential. And as you can see, as it heads toward Vermont here, this would be valid sometime Friday night into Saturday. It does look like Saturday morning we start to see most of that roll by, and then drier air starts to move in. And that's been the trend. Looking at the precipitation here, start with Sunday, not a whole lot. It's really backed off considerably. We get into a day in between, but still some kind of indication of some minor shower activity. It looks like on Labor Day Monday. Most of the Monday should be fairly dry, I think, in the afternoon, so that's looking pretty good. And by the time we get into Tuesday afternoon and evening, there's showers and thunderstorms that roll on through. Then high pressure builds in the rest of the week. A beautiful Thursday setting up, and then we get into Friday, not too bad. And then on Saturday, it looks like mostly Saturday morning, so ill-timed for any major thunderstorm activity. That's how it looks right now. And then beyond that, another big area of higher pressure for the early part of next week, and maybe even for next Sunday. allowing for another day of dry weather. Overall, the weather pattern is really not that conducive to real issues for the utility. GFS ensemble forecast for today, Sunday. Really not a big deal. GFS giving us around 2/10 of an inch. Looks like the next shot there is for Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday, should be Tuesday afternoon and evening. It looks like it's a little displaced and different from the European model. And then you can see the spread is basically a couple fine days coming here around the 4th and 5th. And no real big issues looking at the 7-day precipitation. This is valid now through basically next Sunday morning. About an inch of precipitation shown here around the vicinity of Vermont. Looks like the heaviest precipitation will remain to our west and southwest. And some early warmth for September definitely indicated maximum temperature anomalies. This is valid again through next Saturday. We're running about 6-7 degrees above normal for a large area of the country. Then from midweek to Monday of next week, we're looking at that continuing. So a nice start to September. It looks like we'll be running above normal. And here's the hourly temperature forecast centered on Montpelier, around 75 to 80 today for Sunday. Overnight lows a little bit on the warm side above the 60-degree mark, and then we see temperatures above 80 degrees centered on Montpelier here. Nights down to around 60, and then it looks like we're cruising close to 85 degrees for the warmest day coming up on Tuesday, out ahead of that cold front. Thereafter, marginally cooler air works in, but really not too bad. We're talking running 75 to 80 with the GFS ensemble, these blue colors here. National Weather Service thinks we're going to be a little bit cooler later in the week. I'm going with the GFS here. I think it's going to be staying a little bit warmer than normal as looking down longer range. Switching to the tropics, we're looking at a 30% chance of formation here of a tropical cyclone in the next couple of days in the southwestern Caribbean basin. This is not going to be a factor. It looks like the easterly waves coming in off of Africa are no big deal, at least in the near future. And one other thing, this is the heat index forecast by the European model with temperatures basically in the mid-80s. And you can see some warmer temperatures to our north and certainly across the portions of southern New England. So heat indices are going to be up. Probably the warmest day we're going to see is on Tuesday. Quick look at the radar in this Sunday early afternoon and looking at some of the cell tops. Really not a big deal. We're running under 30,000 feet for the most part. We might see a couple lightning strikes here and there, but these do not look like it's going to be much of a big affair so far this early Sunday afternoon. I am expecting down across parts of southern Vermont to see a little bit more activity, but that could even be negated. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights Consulting.